Good evening. Some fun mystery series tonight on our Small Home Comforts Bookish Chat. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Welcome this evening to my book corner. I'm Beth, and we are here at Small Home Comforts, settling in for a cozy Thursday evening bookish chat as we do every week. So, if you are here, I would love to say hello. Let me know that you're here in the comments. Um, and I would love to say hello to you. So, as you know, I get all this stuff ready, got the technology going, so we are all set. So tonight, I thought we would talk about some fun mystery series, and some titles that you may not have heard me speak of before, but which I have enjoyed a lot. So, I thought we would settle in with that. So, hello, Megan. Megan is here tonight. Welcome. Nice to have you. Good to see you. Susan is here. Hello from Tennessee. And Lori is here. Good evening. Nice to see you all. Marilyn is here. Oh, it's nice to see everyone. I'm glad you're here. Um, so, like I said, I thought we'd talk about mysteries tonight. Um, I think I'm probably going to be doing a series of mysteries. Um, in the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about mysteries quite a bit because it's fall, it's time to get cozy, ready for time for mysteries. So, I've got my tea per usual with my mug. So, what kind of tea are you drinking tonight? I am drinking just a decaf Earl Grey, which I think is what I was drinking last week as well. But it's my cozy tea. Earl Grey is one of my very favorites. So, I was feeling a lot of kind of distraction this week. And when you have a lot on your mind, you just want the old familiar, right? That's what cozy comfort is all about. So, cheers to you all. Martha is here from Wisconsin. Hello, Martha. And Teresa is here. It's so nice to see all of your names. I feel like we're having our little book club meeting here, and it's just so fun. Karen is here. She is drinking cranberry spice. Ooh, perfect for these cozy nights. I love it. Susan is drinking vanilla sugar cookie tea. Oh my goodness, you guys have the best flavors. That is also very cozy. I love it. Megan is drinking thieves tea with honey. That also, oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, but I bet honey is making you feel a lot better. That sounds delightful as well. You guys always have the best kinds. Here I am drinking my old standby. But like I said, I needed a little familiarity tonight. So that's where we're at. Like I said, we're going to be focusing on cozy mysteries for the next few weeks because I'm getting ready to launch the fall Small Home Comforts book box. Next week. So next week is going to be my launch week. So you'll be seeing more of me as the days go by next week, just to talk about it, answer questions, kind of get excited together about what's coming up. And because of that, I really want to focus on mysteries, cozy mysteries, because I'm sure you've heard me say that cozy mystery is our theme for the fall book box. So I announced the title in our on our email list last week. I told everybody last weekend that our title for the fall box is Death on the Cherwell by Mavis Doriel Hay. I am so excited to be reading this with you guys in the upcoming month. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So, like I said, I did the announcement, and then I told everybody on social media. I don't know, a couple days later, I think, or the next day or something. But if you're on the email list, you always get to hear first. So if you are excited about the fall book box, get on our wait list. I do have new spots opening up for the fall box. So if you're in already, you don't have to do anything. You're already in. But if you would like to join us, be welcomed into our cozy community, as well as being able to set up your own cozy book corner in your own home. We'd love to have you join join us. So I did open a few extra slots. Those will be, or I should say, they are opening next week. So get on our wait list. And I will be emailing you next week as soon as they open, and you can join us then. So I am hoping to meet so many more of you. We're going to celebrate that. Like I said, next week is launch week. So we'll be having some fun get-togethers and all sorts of more information to come. So, but like I said, it is a mystery, a golden age mystery, and it has like a collegiate setting. So we'll get more into that in the next week. But because it's mystery, I thought we could kind of kick off the season by talking about cozy mysteries this evening. And I have a stack here for you that I have talked about before, but not recently. And what is kind of unique about this week's stack is that they are more recent publication dates. So I'm not going to say like super recent because it's not like, last year or anything like that, but a lot more, a little stack here of more recently published cozy mysteries that I myself have enjoyed. And I think that you might too. So, you know that I usually like to talk about the older forgotten gems, or some old comfort and familiarity ones, Agatha Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers and all of those good ones, which we will of course talk about in the upcoming weeks too. But this week I have some newer ones. So oh my goodness, look at you, you guys have a whole conversation going over here. I love it. This is awesome. Karen is saying she's drinking iced tea. It's 80 degrees there today. Oh my goodness, Susan. I mean, Karen. That is definitely a call for iced tea. Susan is drinking hers is the Plum Deluxe. Let's see, the vanilla sugar cookie plum. Oh, I love Plum Deluxe. I had those. I had Plum Deluxe in one of my book boxes in the past, and ooh, that was a good one. So, and Susan says she's excited because she's never read her before. I'm excited too. I'm excited to kind of delve in a little bit further. She didn't write too many books. And she didn't write only mysteries. So we're going to be talking about that some more in the upcoming weeks. Megan says she hasn't heard of her before either. So she also is looking forward to it. So Martha said, oh goodness, it's a new author to a lot of you. Martha and Marilyn have not heard of her. Oh, and Karen neither. You guys, this is like thrilling me because one of the things I wanted to do with the book box was to kind of pull in new titles for you guys. Um, that you may have, you may not have heard before, but you kind of like those, let's say, like in this case, the Golden Age mysteries. And so it's kind of fun to discover new authors that you can kind of, get kind of start delving into. So I am looking forward to doing that with the book box this fall. So, okay, shall we get into our stack? Some of you will have probably heard me talk about this before, but I'm going to start with my favorite in this stack. And this one is A Quiet Life in the Country by T.E. Kinsey. So these are Lady Hardcastle mysteries. I discovered Lady Hardcastle, I'm going to say within the last 5 years. Which makes sense because they're relatively new. So this one was published, I think, in 2018. No, I'm sorry, 2016. I probably found this one maybe right around 2020, somewhere right around there, 2021, somewhere in there. But I discovered them actually by the audiobooks. So periodically I do listen to audiobooks if the narrator is someone that is easy for me to listen to. The narrator can kind of make or break an audiobook for me, and I'm sure probably for a lot of you guys as well. But this one on audiobook, the narrator is Elizabeth Knowlton. Best audiobook narrator that I've ever heard, like hands down. Best audiobook narrator. She does these books so well that even though typically I prefer like reading a hard copy of the book, I would actually encourage you to listen to the audio of it just to give it a try because she's just fantastic. And this is a whole series of books. So I'm showing you the first one in the series, but Lady Hardcastle is set in the late 1900s, early 1910s. So it's a series that kind of goes through. These ones do have to be read in order. Um, some mysteries I'm not such a stickler about, but these these ones there is kind of more of a development as you go through, and so it kind of behooves you to read these in the order that they were published. But yes, I you'll probably notice a theme in these books tonight that they are all historical cozy mysteries, even though they are currently published. Because I do still like that old setting, even if it's a current publication date. But this follows Lady Hardcastle and her maid Flo. They kind of have a secret past um, that is kind of alluded to, but you don't really get it fleshed out too much at the beginning until you kind of start to go through the series. But they have retired to a quiet life in the country. And so this is set with the villagers, kind of like country villagers around. They go to the pub, they go to um, like the stores, the shops in the little village to get, the butcher and the post office and, all of the um small little shops in the village. But of course, murder happens and they are called upon to kind of come and solve the mystery, because they have like this past that kind of qualifies them to search out the bad guys. So that is one of my I just these are just so delightful. There's quite a few of them. Um, Susan is saying that there's just so delightful. They really are. Marilyn says it's on Kindle Unlimited. So if any of you have Kindle Unlimited, you can access that one with there. Lori said she loves the book cover. So do I. Isn't it just lovely? And they're all lovely. There is a spin-off series. T.E. Kinsey did write a spin-off series that is called, let me see what I have in my notes here, the Dizzy Heights books. That there was a character in the Lady Hardcastle series that features in the Dizzy Heights books, and those ones are like jazz age London. So it comes after in the timeline after this one. I tried the first one. Have any of you guys tried that one? Um, I tried the first one and I didn't love it as much. I ended up not finishing it. Not for any particular reason except that it was like not catching my interest. Like there was nothing in it that I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to read that." But I don't know, it just didn't capture my interest quite as much as the duo of Lady Hardcastle and Flo. Um, this one was just fantastic. So there is a spinoff, but go for this one. Go for this one first. So that is my first recommendation. That one, oh, I told you, 2016 was the publication date. All right, the next one is a series, a very long series, actually, that I found and was delighted with. These do have to be read in order, and I'm not going to show you the cover of the first one because I couldn't find it at the library today to hold up for you. But I'm just going to show you the title of one that I could find at the library. This is not the title that I'm going to be talking about tonight, but I just want to show you how these covers look. So these are the Daisy Dalrymple Mysteries by Carola Dunn. This particular one is Corpse at the Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace is an actual place in England that is kind of like a historical landmark. And so it was kind of cool to read about like an actual place in a fiction book with some of the historical details. And some of these do really kind of, there's one of hers that is at the Tower of London. So a lot of these do delve into the history of things, which I think is really cool. So this is like, I just wanted to show you like her clothing style and how fun that was. But the actual title that I'm talking about tonight is called Death at Wentwater Court. That is the first of the Carola Dunn Daisy Dalrymple series. Um, And this series, there's a lot of them in here. So I want to say over 20. Yes, there's over 20 in the series. So if you like these, there's lots to look forward to. But this one was not this one, but The Death at Wentwater Court was first published in 1994. But it is set in the 1920s. So I want to say it starts in like 1923, somewhere around there. And it is very much like a interwar um, setting, that they've had some experience with the Great War. The characters, are kind of coming off that. So now it's the early 20s and they're moving kind of away from that. And it's starting to get kind of into the jazz age. But Daisy herself, in this particular one, wants to become a writer. So I think she has some maybe. Oh, what am I trying to say? Aristocratic background, but she's decided she's not just going to, sit with her mother at the dower house. She wants to go out and become a writer. So, one of the first assignments she gets on the, I believe it's a magazine or a newspaper, but I think it was a magazine, is she's going to do a feature. They've assigned her to do a feature on country manor houses. She's going to do like a series. So she goes to this country manor house. She has it's been a little while since I read it. I can't remember if she has the photography equipment or if she like brings a photographer with her. I kind of think she has the photography equipment. But anyway, she's going to write like a piece, like a feature. And it's going to be the first in a series of features on country manor houses. And lo and behold, there is a murder happening, and she is there on the spot. So she's there in the case, and so there's a whole country house murder mystery, um, coming into the picture. So then it changes from her just doing the feature to kind of becoming the investigator, to find the culprit. So it's a lot of fun. Like I said, if you like that one, there's a whole series. That first one is set in like holiday time. I think it happens kind of like over Christmas and then into January. So it's kind of winterish. If you like to have seasonal reads, that one is good for the winter holidays to do. So anyway, again, this is not the title. It's Death at Wentwater Court is the title that I'm talking about. This is one of the later ones in the series, but Daisy Dalrymple by Carola Dunn. These ones do need to be read in order for sure because Daisy has her own kind of character development and relationships, and there is just like very like a growth trajectory there that those ones do have to be read in order. So Marilyn says there's so many books she's trying to get to. I think that's how we all feel, right? Us just there's so many good books, but that is just the delight of getting together. We get to talk to each other about the books we've loved or the books we're looking at, and even if we never get to read them, it's fun to know that they're out there and that they're a possibility. I love it. So Megan says it sounds very good. I like this one. I've read so many of them. I've probably read, in the teens at least, if not close to all of them. They're one of those ones where you can do like one right after the other, and they're just delightful, and you're like, what's going to happen next? So that is my second on the list. So all right. The third one on my list, and you have to let me know if you've heard. I'm going to take a little sip of my tea. Have any of you heard of this one? This one is called A Lady's Guide to Etiquette and Murder by Dianne Freeman. So, note on this one, there is another book that I can't remember the name of with A Lady's Guide to, that is not this one. So this one specifically is by Dianne Freeman. This one is specifically a Countess of Harleigh mystery. And this is the first in the series. I'm going to take a little sip of my tea here. All right. Um, so this one again is a series, but this one, and then they continue on with A Lady's Guide to, um, I'm trying to remember what all they all have like cute little names, but This is the first one, and this one was published in 2018, and it is set at the turn of the century. So it starts in 1899, and you can kind of see based on their style of clothing that it's the turn of the century. And the Countess of Harleigh, her first name is Frances. She um she is an American who has come over to England and married into the aristocracy. And I think her mother was kind of somebody who kind of really pushed that. She wanted to get her daughters married into highbrow, living or whatever. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think that her American family is very well to do. So it wasn't, her husband ended up being like a philanderer. It wasn't like a very happy marriage. But when we come on the scene, he has just passed away. Um, and she is living in the home with her in-laws, and she's kind of in a mourning period that she can't wait to get out of. She's kind of like, okay, done, we're done with that, I want to move on. But she kind of has to go through the process of mourning, and when she has to wear black and when she can change to lavender, and all of those little turn of the century protocols that they had to do. And so she after this year is over, she is ready to move out to London. So she has a daughter. She had a daughter with her husband, and the two of them are ready to get out of this country house and into London. Everything's glittery, and she's ready to kind of move on. And her mother is going to send over her younger sister, the Countess's younger sister, so the other daughter, to be there for the season. And so the Frances, the Countess, has to kind of introduce her sister Lily to the all eligible suitors, and because the mother's trying to marry her off as well, to somebody in the aristocracy. So that is kind of the setup. And then kind of crashing down on this, the police receive an anonymous letter that implicates the Countess in the death of her husband, and it turns out that he was murdered. And so now she's kind of like embroiled in this, um, you know, all of a sudden she's accused of having something to do with it, and she's just kind of like, "Whoa, wow, where is this coming from? What in the world?" And all this. And so the investigation begins, and she's kind of like in the midst of that, in the season, in London with her daughter and her sister, and kind of her overbearing mother, and it's just delightful. It's so fun. Such a fun one. There's a little bit of romance. There's a little bit, of parties, and she's getting to be kind of like independent because she was always with her husband, and now she's kind of out from under. He was kind of, he was like a philanderer anyway, so she's kind of relieved to be out. So Ladies Guide to Etiquette and Murder, and there are a couple more after that. I don't have the titles here, but I think I've read 3 or 4 of these, and they are The Countess of Harleigh Mysteries by Dianne Freeman. So, um, some of you guys are saying you haven't heard of this one. No, this is a new one to you. Oh, I love recommending ones that are new to you. So, lovely covers. I like them too. So fun, the historical one. Martha is saying, "Do I have a favorite?" So I started with my favorite, and I'm going down the line. So Lady Hardcastle by far was my favorite of these. And then the Daisy Dalrymple ones, I think, after that, and then this one here. And I will end with the one that I like, but I wouldn't say is my top favorite. So I have some thoughts on this. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this last one as well. So the last one I have in my stack here is, and you've probably heard of this one as well, is Maisie Dobbs by Jacqueline Winspear. This is the first, again, a series. I don't know how many. Um, I don't know off the top of my head how many, and I didn't look it up before we got on tonight. But this one is very popular, so you probably have You've probably heard of these, but this was a little bit different. So the other ones I feel are a lot more, um, I'm not gonna say maybe lighthearted would be the correct term to use. They're a little bit less serious, a little bit more frothy and fun. This one has a more serious kind of um, deepness to it, which I found very interesting. So on the one hand, um, it reminded me. You guys have to tell me what you think of this, if you've read this, or what you think of my idea. So, if you like old movies, as I do you remember the old Sam Spade movies? They're kind of like film noir almost. And Sam Spade was like a private investigator where they would approach him to see, like could he investigate for them some kind of mystery. Um and this is how Maisie Dobbs is as well. So Maisie Dobbs was a maid in a household where the patroness or the lady of the house becomes her patroness. And so she goes to college, I think. She kind of like she gets private instruction and then she goes off to college and she has kind of a mentor. His name is Maurice. So there's the patroness and then there's the mentor that she learns from. And Maurice is is a private investigator as well. But then Maisie Dobbs ends up becoming her own private investigator. This is set in 1929 is when this opens, but it is very heavily influenced by the Great War, and it is very much more thoughtful and has more serious themes. It's really kind of looking at the effects that the Great War had on people, and how something that had ended over 10 years before was still impacting people's lives, how it still kind of made it, I mean, even though it's a decade later, it's still making a huge difference in their lives. And it's a lot more like psychological, um, and thoughtful. And there is like pieces of like poetry in here where it says the final verse um, from a poem that was drafted in October of 1917 by a poet who ended up being killed in the Great War. So it's very much influenced by that. But it reminds me of kind of like an old Sam Spade movie. There's very much kind of like a noir feel to it, because it's so serious and thoughtful. And so this one is really packed with a lot. And this one was published in oh, I thought I wrote it down. Hold on, let me look here. Published in 2003, and set in 1929. So Maisie is just a very thoughtful person, a very, very much deep thinker, and tries to get behind the motives and why people are behaving the way they do, and what kind of outcome that could lead to. And she thinks in terms of the whole person, um, and kind of like the whole components of everything that's going into this and why the mystery is happening. And then she, of course, is the investigator and solves the mystery, but there's very much a human kind of aspect element to these. So Marilyn says that she loves Maisie Dobbs and has read the first two. I too have read the first two as well. They're a little bit slower moving than the last three that I told you about. So I haven't picked up the third yet, only because I haven't been in the mood to kind of delve deep. But yeah, something that I definitely want to get back to, kind of when I'm in the right mood about it. So Susan says that she has read it a long time ago as well. So how many there are in this series, but quite a few, and I know I've read the first two. So um, Maisie Dobbs is my last one on there. Oh, Megan has it too, but you haven't read it yet. It's a very thoughtful one. It's not one that you want to pick up and like eat like candy. It's one where you just kind of want to sit with it for a while, because they just kind of go into um, all sorts of psychological aspects of it. So anyway, all right, that is my stack for this evening. So Marilyn, since she has these books you need to start reading, so many we've got to get to, right? It's if you're a mood reader though, you at least have it on the shelf, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm in the mood for this, and you can pluck it off and read it right when you're in the mood for it. So anyway, yes, that is my stack for tonight. Two things after. Oh, well, before I let you go and we get into the what we're reading now part of it, I do want to let you know I talked about the fall book box before, but I am currently running a giveaway on Instagram and Facebook. I wasn't able to get it onto YouTube as a giveaway. So if you would like to enter my giveaway, it is running until next Monday. Let me give you the date, Monday the 15th. Um, of September, and I'm giving away one of my fall book boxes, and I would love to send one out to one of you. So go enter the giveaway if you would like to receive one um, for yourself. And if you are already a subscriber, feel free to enter the giveaway as well. And if you win, you can pick a friend to send the box to. So I'm giving away one box, even though it's posted on both Instagram and Facebook. You can enter in either place. Like I said, I would love to send one to somebody new so that they can kind of get cozy in their book corner and read the book with us. So, just wanted to note that before we move into what we're reading now. So, let's see. Lori says, have I heard of the Anne George series, two older sisters, and they are a hoot. I have not. And George, I'm writing this down, Lori. And George, it sounds two sisters. I love books about siblings or that have sibling characters in them. I noticed with some of the Georgette Hare books that I'm reading, there's a lot of sibling dynamics in those mysteries. And that I've just been really enjoying. So I'm going to write this down. And George, two sisters, two older sisters. I'm going to look this up, Lori. This sounds so good. All right. Oh my goodness. Martha, you are so kind. Mysteries are new to you, so that's awesome. Oh, I love it. I hope you love some of this. I hope you can find a title that you like, and if you do, I would love to hear what you think. Those are ones that I've really enjoyed, and I like to share what I have enjoyed. So wonderful, lovely, lovely. Okay, so one quick note. So if you would like to share with me what you're reading now, I would love to hear, and we will end with that tonight. And I will share a couple books here, and I give you like some little background information. Neither one of these I'm reading currently, but I'll tell you why. So the first one I wanted to talk about was Touch Not the Cat, which I finished earlier this week. I talked about it last week, and I just kind of wanted to circle back to it because um, I really enjoyed it, but I did want to just note that this is considered romantic suspense, and I would consider it very suspenseful. So, like if you've ever seen a movie where you're kind of like on the edge of your seat and you're like, why are they doing that? Why are they making that decision? That happened in this book. So, there were a lot of cozy scenes. That I really enjoyed, a very cozy setting, which I really enjoyed, but there was quite the element of suspense. And I just wanted to kind of put that caveat out there for those of you who like mostly more cozy-ish type of things. The suspense was there, and there were also a couple scenes that were a little bit more open door than I typically recommend. And so I just wanted to note that and put that out there, just because it's something that I noticed, and I want you guys to just be aware of it going in, but nothing where I felt like I wanted to put it down. I did make it through the whole thing, and I really enjoyed the wrap up and the suspense of it all. It kind of was thrilling and enthralling and gripping. But just those couple notes on that one, only because I mentioned it last week and I wanted to kind of circle back around to it. Um, to it this week to kind of give you an update on that. Okay, what we're currently reading. I am not currently reading this particular book, but I am not currently reading anything, if you can believe that. I have had a bit of a hectic week, some personal things that have been going on, as well as just in general, lots of distractions in my life and lots. Sometimes there's just a lot of stimulus and I like to keep this space kind of cozy so that we don't have like too many extra stimuluses going on. So, um, with that in mind, I wanted to share with you a book since I feel very distracted this week. I want to share with you a book that I read and loved, and this is a nonfiction book, so a little bit different than what I typically talk about here. But this book is called "The Pleasures of Reading in an Age of Distraction" by Alan Jacobs. Um, and this one here says, um, well, this it's I guess it's kind of a long thing, so I guess I won't read it to you all the way. But basically, this is just a slim book talking about how we can really um use reading as a way to kind of bring ourselves kind of like center ourselves a little bit more and use it as a kind of a tool of pleasure and fulfillment when there are so many outside stimuli around and how it can really kind of help us mentally to be readers and how we can just really enjoy getting into reading. So highly recommend this one. I read it and loved it. It is nonfiction, so it's not like, "Ooh, I'm gonna pick this up and," but you come away with some really thoughtful ideas on reading. Um, and you can kind of like recenter and get again celebrate the pleasures of being a reader. And so this one was very good. Another thing I just wanted to note, this Alan Jacobs, it says in the back, he is a professor of English at Wheaton College in Illinois. There is something that I have been wanting to share with you guys about Wheaton College since the spring, and I didn't do it in the spring because I didn't have pictures to show you. There is a museum. Wheaton, Illinois is not too it's in the Chicago suburbs, and I live in the Chicago suburbs, so it's not too far from where I live. And I had the pleasure of going to the Marion E. Wade Museum, which is located on the campus of this Wheaton College, and they have there a wardrobe that belonged to C.S. Lewis and inspired the wardrobe in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. They have like artifacts they have C.S. Lewis's desk. They have J.R.R. Tolkien's desk. They have artifacts from Dorothy L. Sayers, who is a fellow mystery writer. I'll be talking about Dorothy L. Sayers in the upcoming weeks as well. Her eyeglasses are there. Her address book is there, and you can see, like the telephone numbers written in the address book. And it was just so cool. The reason I don't have pictures is because they don't allow pictures. There were like some um, copyright things where they said, no photos allowed inside the museum. And it's just this tiny little museum and like a reading room that's attached to the library. But it was just so cool. It was centered on like the Inklings and writers around. The Inklings are like C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien and Barfield, Owen Barfield, yes, one of their friends, and then like adjacent writers, so like Dorothy L. Sayers and G.K. Chesterton and Charles Williams and George MacDonald. I wrote myself a list because I couldn't even remember, but it was such a cool experience. To just kind of see all those things. And I was so bummed that I couldn't take pictures to show you, to kind of share with you. But I will say that they do have a website. You can kind of see, and I think they even have a YouTube channel as well, because they do events and things. And you can kind of see some of the things that are not under copyright. And it was just such a cool experience that I thought, I was just going to share that with you, that things like this are out there, that it's just so fun to just to kind of discover that kind of thing. So I wanted to share that with you. So even though I'm not currently reading that book, I thought it would be a good one to talk about tonight, just because of, the pleasure of reading and the pleasure of discovering these literary treasures. So, um, all right, let's go with what we're currently reading here. Um, okay, going back to the comments. You guys are typing fast for me. Martha is reading Miss Mole for Spinster September. It is interesting so far, but a little bit more challenging of a read. Ooh, I've seen this one mentioned, but I don't know anything about it. So I think it's a Dean Street Press one, I want to say. And Dean Street Press always has such good ones. So Susan is reading The Silent Pool by Patricia Wentworth, a Miss Silver book. Hooray! I love Miss Silver. Oh, so delightful. I love it, Susan. Deep in Miss Silverland. Lovely. Um, Marilyn is reading Dan Brown's new Robert Langdon book, The Secret of Secrets, and she has been glued to it. She can't even put it down. Oh, don't you love that? Just getting immersed in a book like that. Oh, so excited to get it first from your library on Libby. Oh, you were first in line. Lovely. It's a new book too. Oh, I love having reading experiences like that. That sounds just lovely. Karen is reading Ordeal by Innocence by Agatha Christie. Oh, Agatha Christie, perfect for this time of year. And The Middle Moffat. Oh, that was the one from the summer book box. I love it. That was the extra one. That one is so good. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I did. Janie is just so lovely. I love that one. Megan is still reading A Light in the Window by Jan Karen. That's one of the Mitford ones. And also A Fine Romance by Susan Branch. Oh, I love that one. I need to. I've got it up there. I need to reread it. I need to pull it down. I love how Susan Branch is like a scrapbooky kind of feel to that. Oh, I got to pull that one down again. Love it. Listening to Anne of Green Gables. I'm going to be reading Anne soon as well. I love Anne in September. This is perfect time for that. Teresa is reading Emma M. Lyon, Volume 5. Love it. Oh, Emma M. Lyon is so good. Actually, speaking of Emma M. Lyon, the Countess of Harleigh book that I was talking about kind of reminds me a little bit of Emma M. Lyon, just with like the season and the setting and like all that kind of stuff. If you like Emma M. Lyon, you might like the setting in this one too. It's a little bit of a different time period, maybe like 20 years later. But it reminded me of that. So I'm glad you brought up Emma M. Lyon. Megan says that she has heard good things about Alan Jacobs' book on your list as well, and it's on Kelly's list as well. It's a good one. I got this one. This one's just out of the library, so it should be pretty easily found at the library. So, oh, you guys are talking about the museum. Oh, it was so fun, so fun. Um, Miss Mole, hold on. Marilyn said she got Miss Mole too after Jen's recommendation. Lovely. So everyone sounds like they're reading that one, huh? Jen has such good recommendations. Lori is still enjoying the Q book. Oh, that's the Beth Brower one, right? I think you said that one was pretty long. So good if you're enjoying it. Marilyn is reading the Q as well. That's Jen's read along for this month too, right? The Beth Brower one. Oh, you guys always have such good recommendations. I love it. I love it. All right. I think that is all for this evening. I'm gonna go finish up my tea and just have a nice quiet evening. I hope you are going to do likewise. Like I said, if you're interested in the book box, sign up for our wait list so you don't miss the announcement when it becomes available next week. And I'm going to be doing all sorts of talking about it next week as well. So I'll be doing some extra lives, and our Thursday night bookish chat will, of course, be about cozy mysteries because that's our theme for the fall. So it's such a delight having you here. Thank you so much for joining us. It is just such a pleasure to see you guys here. I feel like we have our own little book club going here. So yeah, we'll see you.